we all know in every sport, styles make fights. And so I feel like, the thing that Sabalenka is known for is her power. And Amanda was so deflective and diverting of Sabalenka's power today. I think she had a real strategy. She had a plan. I think for a lot of people, when they see people playing tennis, they just think that they're hitting the ball back and forth. But there's a real chess match going on these tennis courts. Hey man, Samaria, tennis is my thing. I've been playing it nonstop, and so I've been all the way locked in on Wimbledon. And just this morning, we saw the world's #1 player, Aryna Sabalenka, take a L to a New Jersey native, Amanda Anisimova. I'm probably mispronouncing the name, but it's all good because she moves on to the Wimbledon final taking place in a few days. Did you get a chance to watch?
I watched the end. You
Okay.
mentioned it to me, and I was keeping up with the score, and I was like, okay, Sabalenka doesn't look too good. And then I watched the very, very end of the match. And, shout out to Amanda because she had to take 8 months off, I believe, because she was kind of experiencing a burnout. So shout out to her for not giving up in this matchup. I know that Sabalenka in Wimbledon this year, she's gotten some ugly wins. Right? Like it was some of them I'm like, okay, she had to rally back and win to move on. And she couldn't do it today. And why do you think that is?
I think sometimes you run into people who just are, they're the reflection of what you do well, what you do best, right? Like we all know in every sport, styles make fights. And so I feel like, the thing that Sabalenka is known for is her power. And Amanda was so deflective and diverting of Sabalenka's power today, just misdirections, change of pace, hitting all speed balls. Obviously, when you play on grass, that surface is a lot different than when you play on hard court. So a lot of Sabalenka's shots that would have maybe 10 to 15 more miles per hour on them on the hard court, are a little bit slower. And so Amanda's able to redirect that energy that she's sending those balls over with. So those types of things, I think she had a real strategy. She had a plan. I think for a lot of people, when they see people playing tennis, they just think that they're hitting the ball back and forth. But there's a real chess match going on these tennis courts. And Amanda was just a better chess player today, getting Sabalenka in positions to have to hit off of her back foot. Just kind of running her all over the court. And Sabalenka's a big woman, and she used a lot of energy chasing a lot of Amanda's balls. So that's my perspective on why she took the L.
Mm-hmm. I pose the question now to you. Do you feel like Sabalenka needs to continue to be the world #1?
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
okay.
Everybody, all the other top seeds, all the other highly ranked players on the women's side have all been eliminated. This was like an upset heavy Wimbledon on the women's side of the tournament, And so a lot of people, Coco Gauff included, lost very, very early, which is very different than what's going on the men's side. So yeah, she for sure should still be #1. The points accrual system for tennis ranking is very different than like college sports. It's not like, you take a L, now you're no longer #1, because on the men's side, you have Yannick Sinner, who is the world's #1, but Alcaraz has won the last 3 major tournaments, or 2 or 3 major tournaments. And he's still #2. So it is a little bit different. She should continue to be ranked #1. She's good. And I want to give some credit to Sabalenka, because in that third set, actually, let's go back to the first set, right? She double faulted on set point, and obviously, so she lost the first set, came back to win the second, which we all know if you watch tennis and you watch Sabalenka, you know that she plays with an extremely high level of emotion. Like that is what she does.
Yes.
But today in that third set, she was down 5-2, and she fought back to make it 5-4, which I thought she was going to melt down at 5-2. I thought it was a wrap. But she stayed in it. She made the last few games competitive. Obviously, she didn't have the ultimate mental fortitude, but I felt like she did a really good job of keeping her composure. She took her hair down. She rewrapped it. She took a beat to kind of like catch her breath. And I think all of those things bode extremely well for Sabalenka going forward. If she is able to minimize the emotional outbursts that she has when things aren't going well, she's a tough out for anybody already. So if she's able to master that, it's going to be difficult. Very, very difficult.
Yeah. And she went and helped someone in the stands that was experiencing a medical emergency. She gave them some water. That was really nice.
Oh, did she? I didn't see that.
Yeah.
See, she's not all bad. Remember, you was trying to act like she was the Antichrist because she said what she said about Coco Gauff.
I didn't say she was the Antichrist. but she did a lot. What do you think of her noise level? I've seen a lot of people on Twitter talking about how much noise she makes, and I was like, I want to ask Rodney about that.
Yeah, I mean, Serena does that. You know, like I think that there are certain players who just do what they got to do to be great. And you know what? It's a really uncomfortable thing to figure out what your process is to help you be the best version of yourself. And for some people, making that kind of noise at that volume would be embarrassing, you know, but she ain't concerned with nothing other than trying to kick ass. And so I respect that to the 10,000%. Now, I do want to touch on the men's side. Pause. That sounds crazy, but I do want to talk about the men's side of Wimbledon as well, because we've had some really good matches yesterday. The world's #1 player, not Yannick Sinner, took on Ben Shelton, and he beat Ben Shelton. Now, there were many people who thought that Yannick might be compromised. He had an elbow injury, had to get an MRI, but he came out and he took care of Ben Shelton in the closest ass whooping that you can see. Every game felt like it could have went either way. Ben Shelton played extremely well, and yet and still, he really wasn't close to Sinner. And so it's going to be interesting to see on the men's side if Sinner's able to keep this momentum up. And obviously, we all look forward to the opportunity for him taking on Carlos Alcaraz. So I'm excited. Alcaraz is on fire right now. Yo, you got to tap in, man. Like, this is... I really wish that my grandmother was still around. She used to try to force me to watch tennis, and I would never do it. And like it would, but she would be tripping. Like, it would be like basketball games on like NBA, like whatever, like Olympic basketball, and she'd be like, "No, we watching tennis," and I'd be like, "Nana, you tripping?" But I've been a really big fan of the sport for like the last year and a half, and so I'm glad I get to come on a Fumble and talk about it. There's just there's a lot of good energy going on around the sport right now. So I hope we can do even more coverage of it, because it's elite. It's elite, yo.
It's good. It's good, especially when we have American women winning.
Which Amanda is. We didn't acknowledge that. Yeah, we didn't acknowledge that Amanda is an American woman. And where's she from, Samaria? She's from Jersey. Jersey taking over the world, high and low key.
And I don't know what it is about American women in Sabalenka. She can't beat the Americans.
So you just gonna not mention New Jersey? You just gonna not mention New Jersey?
So she was born in Jersey, but then she grew up in Florida though. So she really a Floridian.
No, she's from Jersey. She's a Jersey girl.
She was born in Jersey, and then she grew up
No. She was raised in Jersey, but she took tennis lessons and she did like the I'm an elite tennis prospect thing down in Florida. But she's a Jersey girl. Like, that's where she's from. You can tell. You can look at her and tell. When she talks, you can tell. She's Jersey all day. Anyway, regardless, more about the men's side. So Carlos Alcaraz took out Taylor Fritz yesterday, an American man. And I just need to say this on the long form version of the Fumble. Carlos Alcaraz, when it is all said and done, will go down as the greatest men's tennis player of all time. At 22 years old, he already has 6 majors, and I don't see him losing Wimbledon. Possible, but I don't see it. I think he's won his last 24 matches or something insane like that. But the best thing about Alcaraz to me is, even while he's, knocking people's heads off on that court, he finds time to party hard. And he finds time to party like with his friends and family in a real way. The man still lives at home with his parents. Like, I was watching, he has a documentary on Netflix right now. Like, it's actually quite insane that he has like his Wimbledon trophies in like this little prison cell size bedroom. Like, he's a different kind of dude, and so I'm looking forward to seeing the continued ascension and greatness of his career. He's so exciting. He's a risk taker, he's a gunslinger, but also he's a technician. When you very rarely get somebody who does all of those things, he's a showman, and very different than Sinner, who's just the ultimate technician and just incredibly sound. Obviously has a really fast serve. But yeah, I'm an Alcaraz guy. I'm all in on Alcaraz.
I see.
I needed to acknowledge that. My bad. But also, Samaria, earlier this week, I posted a short about Wimbledon, about tennis, and I was going back and forth with a cat. I just want to shout him out real quick because we kind of predicted this together, fam. We predicted the Sabalenka loss. His name is TTV Alpha Gaming 3474. He was saying like, yo, I feel like Sabalenka can lose. And I was like, yo, I agree, bro. Yeah, whatever. It was a good conversation, but I'm excited that there are other people out there who are as invested in tennis and Wimbledon as I am. Like, this is fun for me. Like, I can't believe I get to do this for work. Like, this is crazy. I'm about to go play tennis as soon as we're done. But yeah, man, I can't believe I get to do this for work. So I am always going to encourage more conversation around tennis. So Fumble family, please let me know your thoughts on Sabalenka taking an L today and who you now have winning the women's side of Wimbledon. But also, do you think it'll be another Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz final on the men's side? Let us know in the comment section.
And if you want to stay up to date on everything that's happening in sports, our newsletter got you covered. All right, latest episodes, biggest headlines, all in one place. Hit the link in the description box.